powerful forces that shape Earth, including global movements, water, and sunlight. These forces also shape Earth's weather patterns. Weather patterns can vary widely, from one region to another. Weather or climate? Do you look outside before you choose your clothing in the morning? If so, you are checking the weather. Weather is the condition of the air and sky at a certain time. Or do you choose your clothing based on the normal weather for the time of year in the place where you live? If so, you dress according to your local climate. Climate is the average weather of a place over many years. How you feel about today's weather may depend on your local climate. If you live in a place with a wet climate, you may be unhappy to see rainy weather, because your climate means that you get rain frequently. On the other hand, if you live in a dry climate where water is scarce, you might be very happy to see rainy weather. Rain is a form of precipitation, which is water that falls to the ground as rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Temperature is a measure of how hot or cold the air is. Precipitation and temperature are the main ways to describe both daily weather and long-term climate. One way to understand and compare climates is to use climate graphs. Climate graphs show the average climate for a place for each month of a year. A climate graph has a curved line that shows average temperatures. It has bars that show average monthly precipitation. The next page has two examples of climate graphs. Sun heats Earth. Because of the tilt of Earth's axis, different areas of the planet receive different amounts of direct sunlight. As a result, some regions are warmer than others. Because of the tilt of Earth's axis, temperature patterns change from season to season. The maps below show the world's average monthly temperatures in January and July. In January, it is winter in the northern hemisphere and summer in the southern hemisphere. In July, the seasons are reversed. Notice that temperatures are cooler year-round over western South America and other areas. The lower temperatures are due to the high altitude of these regions. Altitude is height above sea level. As altitude increases, temperature drops. Like plants and animals, people need fresh water to live. All fresh water comes from precipitation. Precipitation is water that falls from the sky in the form of rain, snow, sleet, or hail. Water also shapes climate. Oceans and other large bodies of water on Earth's surface help spread Earth's heat and shape climates. Global temperature differences and wind patterns create ocean currents, which act like large rivers within the oceans. These ocean currents move across great distances. They move warm water from the tropics toward the poles. They also move cool water from the poles toward the tropics. The water's temperature affects air temperature near it. Warm water warms the air. Cool water chills it. Bodies of water affect climate in other ways too. Water takes longer to heat or cool than land. As air and land heat up in summer, water remains cooler. Wind blowing over the cool water helps cool land nearby. So, in summer, areas near an ocean or lake will be cooler than inland areas at the same latitude and altitude. In the winter, on the other hand, water remains warmer than land. So, in winter, areas near oceans or lakes are warmer than inland areas. For example, in the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf Stream, a warm current, travels northeast from the tropics. The Gulf Stream and the North Atlantic Current carry warm water all the way to Western Europe. That warm water helps give Western Europe a much milder climate than other regions at the same latitude. Earth's water is always moving in a process called the water cycle, shown in the illustration below. The water cycle is the movement of water from Earth's surface into the atmosphere and back. As water heats up, it moves from rivers, oceans, and lakes up into the air. As it cools, it falls to Earth's surface and flows back to rivers, oceans, and lakes. The water cycle includes precipitation and evaporation. Evaporation is the process in which a liquid changes to a gas. Air circulation and precipitation. Belts of rising and sinking air form a pattern around Earth. Air rises near the equator, sinks at the edge of the tropics, rises in the temperate zones, and sinks over the poles. The Intertropical Convergence Zone, or ITCZ, is the area of rising air near the equator. Most storms occur when two air masses of different temperatures or moisture contents come together. Some storms bring small amounts of rain or snow, while others bring heavy wind and rain, causing great destruction. A tropical cyclone is an intense rainstorm with strong winds that forms over oceans in the tropics. A hurricane is a cyclone that forms over the Atlantic Ocean. These storms can cause much damage. A tornado is a swirling funnel of wind that can reach 200 miles, 320 kilometers per hour. Tornadoes can be more dangerous than hurricanes, but they affect smaller areas. Most other storms are less dangerous. In winter, blizzards dump snow on parts of North America. Severe rainstorms and thunderstorms strike North America, most often in spring and summer. You have already learned about the most important shapers of climate: temperature, precipitation, and wind. These factors form global patterns. For example, temperatures are warmest in and around the tropics and are coolest close to the poles. Precipitation is greatest near the equator. These patterns of temperature and precipitation create world climate regions. Climate regions are areas that share a similar climate. The connections between living things and the environment form ecosystems. An ecosystem is a group of plants and animals that depend on each other and their environment for survival. Ecosystems can be small or large. The map below shows Earth's major types of ecosystems. Ecosystems can change over time due to physical processes or human activities. For example, a lack of rain in a temperate forest ecosystem might kill off many plants and animals. The building of a city is an example of a human activity that changes an original ecosystem.